advanced, futuristic super soldier was actually an idea from thousands of years ago. In this explainer, we're going to follow a really fascinating thread that connects cutting-edge nanotechnology with some of our planet's oldest myths. It's a pretty wild ride, so let's just dive right in. An invisible soldier. I mean, that sounds like pure science fiction, doesn't it? Like something straight out of a movie. But according to the research we're looking at, this is not a movie pitch. It's an active, funded goal for building the American warrior of the future. And this isn't just some idea floating around in a lab. No. This project got kicked off with some serious money. The Pentagon put down an initial $50 million grant just to get MIT's Institute for Soldier Nanotechnologies, the ISN, off the ground. That is a huge investment in turning science fiction into actual fact. So this future soldier even has a name, the MIT E-Man. That E stands for electronic or enhanced. And listen, this isn't some far-off dream. The analysis we're looking at projects that a soldier just like this could be on the battlefield within the next 20 years or so. Okay, so what can this E-Man actually do? Well, this suit is just a technological marvel. For defense, you're talking chameleon-like skin to blend in, plus shields that can stop bullets and chemical attacks. But it's also a life support system. It's monitoring vitals, it's killing germs on contact, and get this, it even heals the wearer's wounds right on the spot. But the suit isn't just about defense. It gives you superhuman abilities. The research talks about exo-muscles for Spider-Man-like strength and exo-boots that can charge up for a 20-foot vertical leap. On top of all that, it's lightweight and totally waterproof. And this brings us back to the most amazing part. The suit has these tiny scales that literally manipulate light, giving it that active cloaking, invisibility. An invisible, super strong, self-healing warrior? It really feels like the peak of modern invention. But the analysis we're exploring asks a really interesting question. What if this whole idea, this dream of a power-giving suit, has actually been with us for thousands of years? So the explainer here draws a direct line between the MIT E-Man and this ancient mythological artifact, the garment of the Sumerian king Nimrod. According to the legends, this wasn't just a piece of clothing, it was a cloak of light that gave whoever wore it immense power. And this wasn't just a one-off story either. This idea of a sacred, power-granting piece of clothing, it just pops up again and again in ancient myths all over the world. It's this recurring symbol of a divine garment, an artifact that could turn a regular person into something more. The power that was connected to this garment was, well, absolute. According to the Book of Joshua, which is referenced in this analysis, the cloak was the actual source of Nimrod's authority. Now, this is the crucial point. It wasn't a symbol of his power. The garment was his power. It's what allowed him to rule the world and be worshipped like a god. All right, let's break this down a bit. This isn't just some vague, fuzzy similarity. The research argues that when you really compare the abilities of our future soldier to the powers of these ancient figures who supposedly wore these cloaks, powerful heroes and seers, sometimes called oracles, the parallels are just uncanny. And look at how direct these comparisons really are. The E-Man's cloaking, that perfectly mirrors the Greek helmet of invisibility. The suit's exomuscles that give super strength, that sounds a lot like the gigantic feats of mythological heroes. And the bulletproof skin, well, that's just a modern term for what ancient texts called an incorruptible body. So why does this pattern keep repeating over thousands of years? Is it just a big coincidence? Well, this analysis suggests there's a much deeper reason, something rooted deep inside human psychology. The idea is that we aren't just inventing something brand new, we're actually tapping into a timeless, universal pattern. This whole theory comes from the psychologist Carl Jung. He came up with this idea of archetypes, these primal symbols that he said exist in the collective unconscious of all people. Like the hero or the wise old man. The argument here is that the power-granting garment is another one of these core archetypes, and it just keeps reappearing throughout history, first as a myth, and now as technology. So, this whole push for technology isn't just about building a better soldier. According to this research, it's actually seen as a major step in consciously directing our own evolution. We're moving beyond just improving our tools and stepping into the realm of fundamentally changing what it means to be human. And this is where the whole concept goes way beyond a single suit and into its potential endgame. The research points to this idea from nanotechnologist Josh Hall called utility fog. Imagine taking all the tiny nanites from the suit and creating a huge cloud of them, microscopic 12-sided robots just filling the air all around you. These nanobots could link up to form a structure that could build almost anything you want, on command. The powers this utility fog could give us are, for lack of a better word, godlike. I mean, think about it. The power to just create objects out of thin air, to move things with your mind, or to levitate, to teleport from one place to another, or even to perform alchemy, literally changing one element into another. These are the miracles from ancient myths, potentially made real with technology? And the implications go right down to our own biology. The research talks about medical nanites that could patrol our bodies, acting like a perfect immune system. They could wipe out every disease, from a common cold to cancer. And maybe the most profound idea of all, they could stop the aging process itself, offering us a kind of physical immortality. There's a quote from the analysis that really just captures the weight of all this. It suggests that this military-funded research has consequences far, far beyond the battlefield. It's about a fundamental shift in what it means to be human. The power to overcome our natural limits is almost within our grasp, and that brings both incredible promise and, well, incredible risk. And all of this just leaves us with a final big question that kind of hangs in the air. We see ourselves as this modern scientific civilization, right? But our most cutting edge goals seem to be leading us straight to recreating the exact same powers of our ancient gods and legends. It's like the further we look into the future, the more we see a reflection of our most ancient past. And what that means for all of us, that's a really powerful thing to think about.